Good. We are ready to go. So I have nothing to teach today. It's more of a catch-up session for you folks. If you folks have any question for which you need some answer, or if there is some concept that you feel it's very difficult to understand, maybe we can spend few minutes on that and clarify those concepts. Okay, go ahead. Are you folks able to hear me? Strange. Okay, let me just ask.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I think my side network seems to be okay. Rick, any question you would like to ask?
None for me.
Okay.
I still have quite a bit to go.
Okay. Guru,
I don't have any questions at the moment, Dylan.
okay. Deepika, Deepika, I'm not able to hear you. Maybe if you have any question, you can put in the chat window. I can answer that as well. I think this session communication isn't proper, I would trust, because I think the mail hasn't gone to people which it should have gone. Maybe that's why there is some confusion on who are joining the session. Okay. Angel, any question from you?
No questions at this time.
Okay. Alvin, good morning. Oh, if you guys have no question, then what do I do?
I may just go back to rewatching yesterday's videos.
Okay, please do that. And I think I wrote a mail as well. Be in touch with Sue and see when the next repeat session for that session happens. And maybe you can join that. It should happen towards the month end or at best by the next month beginning.
The videos do provide quite a bit.
That's okay, up to you. It's completely up to you. Alvin?
Yes, good morning.
Good
Can you hear me?
morning. Any question you have in your mind which you would like my answer?
Not really. I came expecting lots of stuff. I don't have any question particularly.
Okay. How have you guys doing with your quizzes? Are you spending time with the quizzes?
For me, not yet. I've not started doing quizzes at all.
Okay, then I think my sincere request would be to go through the quizzes. And as you go through the quizzes, some of the questions may not be clear. You may find it hard. Those things we can discuss in the catch-up session. I think I would frame this question session a little better. The primary intent of this session that we are holding right now is to help people or help participants who participated in the past our programs, maybe March, January, December, wherever they attended, and they are still not gone through the exam process, and they need some help either in the exam process or anything on the content. Deepika, you wanted to say something.
Hi, I'm sorry, I missed 5 minutes of the session. I hope I haven't missed much. And can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. And I was wondering that I still have a session to go with you at 9 o'clock. So would it be good if I attend this session in the next month?
That is what it is supposed to be. I think there is some kind of a
Okay.
confusion why I
Yes.
think you and Rick you joined this session. Even Guru also. Guru still I think Guru completed the training today. I would trust Guru.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is supposed to be a month later session.
Okay.
I think that's where the confusion lied. I think we ourselves probably have to be blamed on how the communication has gone. Don't worry. If you have a session starting at 9 o'clock, please join that. There we
Okay.
will spend some time on behavioral skills, which is still pending, and I could take questions in that session as well.
And I still have a question to go actually.
Go ahead.
I am here for the ECBA certification, and last week Clara just mentioned that for ECBA we need not apply the techniques. I mean, we will not be getting question on how to apply the techniques basically. So is it? Do we have to memorize the?
No. See, the difference between ECBA and other standards is ECBA does not assume that you have any work experience.
Right.
So it actually kind of tests your knowledge of Babok. It does not give you any scenario, what to do in that scenario. Such kind of questions are not asked in ECBA because you are not supposed to be having any work experience. Not that you will not be asked questions which can be answered by reading Babok. Whichever question can be answered by reading Babok, they can ask you. But generally, they keep the question level a little simpler. That's understandable because the exam scheme itself is for people who don't have any experience. So usually we avoid financial analysis questions. We avoid UML questions for ECBA because these are techniques which are very complex to understand. So they do not usually ask such questions. Most questions will be probably limited to elicitation, requirements, lifecycle management. Those techniques are more prominent in ECBA exam.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
There's one more gentleman or lady who is joining just now. Let's check who is the person. If he or she has any question, I can answer.
So, I'm sorry. I still have one more to go.
Go ahead.
What do you suggest should be my study pattern for ECBA certification? Should I, go ahead with the study guide and then go into Babak, or I should
May
start
not
from
be required. Babok may not be required, actually, frankly speaking. If you read study guide, that's more than enough, but do all the quizzes. Maybe do a reading of Babok just for your own personal satisfaction that you have been through Babok. But for ECBA, the study guide is pretty much enough. But just do one quick read of Babok.
Okay, thank you. That was really helpful. Babok really scared me at the first look. So
yeah, true. It is a big document, so a lot of people actually find it very hard.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that ideally there is actually another standard. If you get time, you can download that standard even from IIBA site. That's much simpler to read, which is there in library as well. That is called some global standard for business analysis or something. Global standard for business analysis. This is what I think, this is what IIBA calls the IIBA Global Business Analysis Core Standard. And this is a book which is much simpler than Babok. So I'm just giving you the link. This is almost, this is abstracted from Babok, but it's much simpler to read. So this is the link for the book. So I'll give it to all of you as well. So if you look at this particular book, and you can download it as well. It's freely available. So I'm just downloading it. It's only a 50-page book. It's only a 50-page book. So this kind of covers Babok at a very high level. In fact, if they could have covered bit of techniques along with this book, I would have believed that this would have been the real standard for ECBA. Instead of asking people to read Babok, which is such a huge, voluminous document, this we could actually have it in 100 pages, 100 odd pages, maybe a little more. But this is the essence of Babok. So if you're finding Babok very hard to read, maybe use this guidebook. Or I think our study guide is also pretty okay. Our study guide is almost similar to this particular book. The only thing different there, you will find the techniques discussion. Here the techniques discussion isn't there. I don't know why they completely removed techniques from the standard. Maybe they didn't want this to affect the sale of Babok, because if they actually put techniques here, maybe more people would like to read this than Babok. But that's actually not it's not such a bad idea. Maybe let me write it to Ken and see what's his opinion on this. Can we include sort write-ups on techniques in the core standard? This will be an invaluable resource for all aspiring PAs. Maybe we'll go step by step. Then we'll request IIB to use this as the standard for ECBA. If they agree, it's actually a good thing to happen. We don't have to ask juniors to read Babok. We can ask only seniors to read Babok. Okay, so now I have made a request. Let me see if IIB is open to discuss. Hey, good morning, Ada.
Good morning, how are you?
I am always good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, how is your exam preparation going on?
Well, I took a dive and took the first exam and didn't pass it.
Okay.
So I'm listening to all the videos and studying and retaking all the exams.
Which standard did you take the exam for?
The ECBA.
Oh, you took the ECBA one. What did you find it challenging? Which area did you find challenging?
According to the results, looks like I struggled with the elicitation part and the what's the other 20% that it asks?
LCM, life cycle management.
RAD.
Oh, RAD. Okay, okay.
Life cycle no, I think it's life cycle is only 10%. Sorry, I was looking for the sheet, can't find it. I thought life cycle is only 10%. Is that 20% too?
No, I don't think. I think if we look at ECBA question pattern, did you see any question on UML or anything like that? Did you see?
What's the question?
The unified modeling language, like class diagram, state diagram. Did you see any question like that?
Yes, yeah, and I'm actually studying that over again because I'm due to take the exam this week. So I want to see if I think I'm ready or if I might postpone it a little further. Just trying to see what you could share with me today.
I think what you have to do, if you have to reschedule your exam, you should do it at least 24 hours prior. Then there is no fees. But I think if you try to do it if the exam is 24 hours, within 24 hours, it's a little hard to change, and I think they ask for money or something.
Yeah, I have more than 24 hours. It's later in the week.
So maybe if you feel that you need a little more time, reschedule it by 10 days or something so that you get a little more time. In fact, these are the 3 knowledge areas which have about 20% plus. One is elicitation and collaboration, requirements lifecycle management, and requirement analysis and design definition. These 3 have...
Yeah, it was the requirement lifecycle management. I believe I struggle with those 2 knowledge areas. So my concept, where I get caught up is the terms are so close. They kind of intertwine. So that's where I got caught up in.
Okay. Any specific question you would like to ask me? Maybe I can help.
Couple questions, and this is not with those areas, but I do get confused with functional, non-functional
Requirements. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me explain that. Functional versus non-functional. This is a kind of quite typical question people get. Functional requirements relate to application behavior. What you can do with the application, what you can perform with the application. So typically these are related to data, what kind of data you can manage, user interface, then flow, logic, state. These are all what we call functional aspects of an application. Okay. Non-functional ones are how well the application performs. Under what circumstances it can perform. Under what circumstances it can perform. Say for example, how many users it can handle. So the functionality remains same. There is no change to the functionality, but it's basically trying to tell us that, okay, this application can handle 20,000 users. Okay, how many users it can handle, how user friendly is it, how secure is it, how secure it is, how reliable it is. These are the aspects that we cover in non-functional requirements. So if you are not seeing something with respect to data, user interface, flow, logic, status, most likely it's going to be a non-functional requirement.
Okay.
So, good. Any other question?
Even though the terms prepare elicitation, conduct elicitation, and confirm elicitation, they seem to speak for themselves. But what is like a few terms that can trigger what the differences are, really?
Okay. Some of the terms that can trick you are verify versus validate.
Oh, yes, for sure. Verify, satisfy.
Yeah, verify versus validate is something that usually people get tricked.
Yes.
So verify means checking the quality of the requirement. Validate means ensuring that the requirement is aligned to your scope. This is the main difference between verify and validate. And I think there is an article that I wrote, the terms that confuse in Babok. Let me see if I can pull that article for you. Give me a second. Where would I have kept it? This is, I think I can allow people to access this link. Just that adaptive blogs. Let me allow this link to be accessible to you guys, because all my blogs, whatever I have written, they're all here. Only thing is that I have to make it only readable by you guys, because I don't want anybody to change my blog links. Okay, so let me see if I can make it a shareable link, and I can make it as can view, but can I make it a public link? Okay, more on public. Okay, anyone internet can find and access view. Okay, very good. I think this is something which is very, very helpful. Link sharing updated, done. You should be able to view. That is what I wanted to kind of put it. So this is the link. How do I get a shareable link? Get shareable link copy to clipboard. Okay. So let me just make it a LinkedIn post as well, and I'll give it to you guys as well. So this is the link on which I have all our blogs. So, okay. And from this link, let's pick up the blog that is helpful for you for Babok terms. Babok terms. So let me say confuse. This is what Babok terms that confuse us the most. Okay, so this is the link. Let me see if I can get that link. Okay. So Ada, this is the link that I'm also sharing it with you. This is the specific article on which the confusing terms in Babok. And if you see here, verify versus validate comes first. I told you this is very popular thing. Then requirements traceability versus requirement structure. How do they link each other? Trace requirements versus track requirements. Then business analysis plan versus requirements management plan. Viewpoints versus views. These are some terms that are kind of very close to each other and they confuse us. So please take a look at this. And also there is another article that I think I wrote very clearly, very recently, which is Babok word cloud. Where is word cloud? Let me search. Cloud. No. I think it is not yet published. Is it here? No, I think it has not been updated for quite some time. I trust I wrote an article on word cloud. Let me search if it is here. This is another article that I would like you to take a look because it kind of deals with all these terms, how they link to each other. Okay, this is another one which I would like you to take a look. So these two articles should be quite helpful for you because in this article again, like the terms that we need to understand, RFI, RFP, and so all that I have explained it here. Regulation, policy, rule, so like value, benefit, revenue, saving, goal, objective, strategy, vision. It's kind of written quite nicely about all terms which are close to each other but slightly different. So take a look at these two articles. I think these two articles should help you to get a better feel about Babok terminology. Okay, Ada?
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, I had muted myself.
Okay. Alvin, any other question from you? Alvin?
Yes, sir. Yes, Helen. I just want to find out, are you going to be sharing the slides with us after the session?
Yes, I can.
Okay, okay.
That's not a problem. These are all public properties, nothing to hide or anything. Okay.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay. Ada, any other question from you?
That those couple of documents will probably help me. I got caught up in all of those terms that are very close, like risk and penalty, capabilities. Can you explain capabilities?
Oh, okay. Capabilities as a term means your ability to do something. Like say your capability can be to create process flow diagram. This is a capability one can have. Similarly, you could have a capability to conduct a workshop. So these are capabilities related to a person. So if you look at an enterprise, the enterprise would have capabilities to carry out certain activities. It would have capabilities in terms of its products, its brand image, financial capability. Big companies have lots of money. That's a capability because that would allow them to do things, buy another company or whatever. So typically, Babok considers your software, people capability, assets as your capabilities because using them you can get something done. So capability is basically ability to do something.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other question, Ada?
I have loads of them, but I don't want to take up your time. So
no problem. Do one thing. Just put it in a document or an email. Send it across. I will ask Fatima or somebody to take a look, and she would at least give you the pointer saying this is where you will find the content. That will be much easier.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And also don't hesitate to write. Just because we are having this Q&A session once in a month, it does not mean that you cannot write. If you have a question in your mind, please write email. Generally within a day or two, somebody will respond.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so maybe for today we will stop here and we would have a similar session as well, Alvin, next month. So please join that as well. And if you have, I trust by the time you would have gone through the questions and we would have some questions to discuss. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.